Okay, good day. It is Monday, the 15th of January, 9:07 a.m. Uh, yeah, a wise person once said that I do too much random shit and I don't document it in such a way that it's easy to follow along with. So, um, yeah, I'm keen to try and fix that. I guess I've been doing this for a long time now. I started in May of 2018, and there's definitely been points over that time period where I have tried to put out daily or weekly recap videos. But I think I've probably overthought it or over-engineered it each time I've done it in the past. Insofar as I've tried to, splice in a bunch of clips of my commute and turn it into a little bit of a vlog and whatnot. But there's a lot of fun. It's just a lot of work, and it's enjoyable. But it just meant that I was reaching the end of a busy day, and then just not being able to find an extra couple hours to edit everything together and whatnot. So we're just going to stick with this for now and see what happens. Um, yeah, what have I been up to? So this year has been pretty action packed so far. I mean, the end of last year was, scorched earth. We had the Gumroad fiasco. Um, it's just a lot of work. But this year so far, I think I managed to get away for 3 or 4 days at the start of the year and go spend time out in nature with my friends and loved ones. And then since then, yeah, so I've teamed up with Ali to work on LeetUX, which is super exciting. We've been having meetings, I think we've done 4 or 5 now, to go through, um, scoping out the MVP and really thinking about what problem we're solving and who for and whatnot. But it's been absolutely, fantastic. I'm so lucky to have found her. I'm so glad and grateful that she's jumped on board. Um, the build in public stuff I've been doing, so teaching people how to live stream kind of a build in public development context has been going really well as well. Um, yeah, I've just really enjoyed that. I've really enjoyed talking to people who are interested in getting to streaming, sharing what I've learned, answering their questions, seeing them go out and start doing it and doing really well. Um, yeah, it's a lot of fun, like just very gratifying and the kind of thing that kind of pinch myself that someone would pay me to do because it's not really work. It's just, it's deeply gratifying. Anyhow, uh, over the last couple of days, I've been working on a little site called buildinpublic.network. Um, the idea is to create a directory and a little community of people who are building in public. I think this has been overdue for a long time, and I think there's been lots of attempts at making products in this space or kind of to create a directory of people who are indie hacking and whatnot. But I think this angle of just um, creating somewhere for people to go to actually find people making this kind of content and documenting their journeys is quite compelling. I think oftentimes the products we've seen that haven't done well in the space, or the websites that have launched a little bit more too complex or too focused on promoting products. Um, but it doesn't typically work because if you have indie hackers showing up and listing their products, well, then you have inbound indie hackers, but you don't necessarily have much audience outside of that, nor is it very sticky. You don't get much return viewership. Whereas I think a website that serves a purpose for people who are trying to find this kind of content, be it as indie hackers or people outside of indie hacking who perhaps want to get into it or just want to watch someone build a business. I think there's something there. And ultimately, I would love to give more light to people who are live streaming while building in public. I think it's really slept on, even still. I think the software and game dev category has been blowing up for years now, and certainly has been blowing up at an exponential clip over the last 3 months or so, thanks to Thor, Pirate Software. But the whole different side of the internet, the indie hacker build and public side, I don't think they've quite cottoned on to the benefits of live streaming yet, both for the audience and the streamer. It's massively stacked for both sides because as a content creator, someone streaming your journey, you get an amazing community, you get ideas, feedback, suggestions, support, just so many wonderful things that impact you as a person and what you're working on, the business you're trying to build. And then as an audience, I think, there's a lot of value there as well. Like it's fun to watch someone pursue their dreams, try and build something and, you know, yeah, I think, and also obviously, sometimes hopefully there's opportunities for the audience to learn from whoever it is who's building in public streaming. So yeah, I think there's a lot of value for both sides, but I think it is still massively underdone. And it's my hope that by solving the problem of creating an aggregate directory for building public people, there'll be more awareness generally of, oh, actually, there's quite a few people here who are, well, there's just people, it's becoming like a normalized thing. I think when I talk about building in public on a live stream, it's still pretty weird. Even this many years in, it's still a little bit like, oh, that's interesting, but like I wouldn't do it because I'm too introverted or I'd get distracted or what have you. But I think with more people coming in, it's becoming increasingly obvious without me having to just try and convince people that, yeah, plenty of different folks from different walks of life with different character traits and different dispositions towards, um, you know, sharing intimately a lot of what they're doing, are enjoying it and getting a lot out of it. So, yeah. So that was, yeah, designing that the last couple of days, and then I'll be building it this week. It's been really fun as well, going back into another kind of full stack web app attempt. This time, just being so much more comfortable with all of the core concepts and slowing down, reading the docs, understanding things. I think a big lesson there for me was to remove the deadline and instead give myself permission to uh, drill into something if I came across a concept that I didn't understand. And I've had to kind of retrain myself there instead of just kind of trying to breeze past it and hold the discomfort of not knowing how something works. I've been, yeah, pausing and thinking, okay, hang on, actually, I really don't understand how that thing works, or that syntax just doesn't fully sit right with me. I'm just going to pause and go after that. And yeah, it's funny. I think it's probably not that much slower. In fact, it may actually just be quicker. Just requires a little bit more upfront effort, and probably more importantly, requires there to not be a deadline, or certainly like a really hard and fast short deadline or unrealistic one. And because that's what creates the conditions to just feel the pressure to zoom through stuff. Um, so yeah, I mean, really enjoying that. So second app back was Svelte and Superbase. Um, Superbase auth and whatnot, Superform, which is this Svelte form library, Zod, TypeScript, I guess. Yeah. But I said this to Brett on a call last night. I mean, I don't want to get too big for my boots, I'm still a noob, but I think I'm leaving that initial phase where everything is just painful and confusing and overwhelming. I think I'm starting to break through, which is really exciting. I don't know if I ever really was that hopeful that I would, or hadn't really spent too much time being optimistic about that. So that's cool. Reminds me of like something that Primogen talked about in one of the early videos I saw of him talking about his life experience and about how none of it came easy to him. He just kind of had to keep grinding, and then it just suddenly did. Or, over time it did. And I think when I watched that at the time, it gave me a little bit of hope, but that's what I'm describing. I never really focused on, just thought, well, there's a pretty good chance that he's just really intelligent, and maybe I'm not quite that intelligent. Yeah. Anyway, um, so this week, I'm going to try and get this building public network thing finished off, shipped, which I know is paradoxical to the statements I just made about deadlines, but it'd be good to do that. I'm going away for a week next week, into like a hippie festival with some friends, spend some time in nature. Um, but I think, yeah, I had some really great feedback from Talented from the stream. He was a really accomplished, successful SaaS entrepreneur. He gave me some yeah, really good feedback, and gave us a little push to say, hey, look, I come back here. This is obviously, I'm paraphrasing here. I come back in here and you're working on a new project or building something out. Why aren't you working on stuff that makes you money? And I was full of rationalizations and excuses and whatnot. But I think the more he drilled down, the more it started to become obvious to me that that's what I was doing. I was kind of just trying to rationalize things in a way that fit the way I wanted to work versus what I should be working on. And he gave me a little story which was quite profound, which I'll perhaps end on. He said to me, so he's been running his business, I think, for 3 years now, 3 or 4 years, since 2020, and he's doing really well. I mean, he talks about the numbers publicly in chat, but it's, you know, tens of thousands of dollars MRR a month, US, high profit margin, fantastic. Um, And so he told me that when he had started that business, I think he just got married, and there's a couple of kids came over there, and yeah, like, money was tight and things were really stressful. And he spent a lot of time, as he described it, I think, doing the enjoyable things, but not the thing he needed to do. And he described to me that he went out on a motorcycle ride and had a moment of clarity that he was just chasing dopamine. He wasn't doing the stuff he needed to do, which is the hard, unfun stuff. So he came back from that ride and then just spent 5 months hitting the ground, just doing the really boring, unfun stuff. And at the end of that, he started to have the breakthrough, as a developer who kind of hadn't been marketing and didn't really know how to market, to then suddenly have customers coming in, and the marketing was paying off. He described to me that it suddenly made sense to him as to why everyone wasn't successful in these endeavors. And it's because it's just really fucking hard work. And that's what you have to do. That's the cost of entry. So yeah, I don't know. I felt that was quite moving. Um, Very relevant, I think, to where I've been at. So looked at the calendar and just thought, all right, the next week, I think finishing off the building popular network stuff is good. There's a lot of benefit to that, and I think it is the right time to kind of make that happen. But then when I come back from this festival, just yeah, certainly for the month of February, just block everything out and just really smash through the core of the Leet UX work with some tunnel vision. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. This turned into a bit of a ramble. I haven't drunk any coffee yet. Haven't had any caffeine. So, any Uber. Uh, so that's my excuse for why it's a bit all over the shop. It would have probably been much of the same, just more energized had I already consumed some Uber. But in any case, I'll park it there. I'm gonna hop on the stream, do some work. Thank you as ever to everyone who has been coming through and hanging out and encouraging me and being a part of the community. Thank you. And yeah, I guess we'll keep doing it live and I'll see you on there. Alrighty. Hope you have a great week. Peace.